welcome to Hackley Handmade. It's Wendy and today's video is my colouring plans for September 2022. So yeah, I've got a stack of books, as you can imagine, way more books than I'll probably get round to colouring, and as per usual I will give my usual warning. I'm going to show you all these books and the pages that I'm currently thinking about in books that I'd really like to colour, but depending how my month goes I may change my mind completely. I may do some of them. Generally I'll do some of them, but I probably won't get to a good chunk of them, but I will, in my dreams, I would like to get to quite a few of them, hopefully. Who knows? Depends how bad my month is when I go back to work next week, but so we'll see. Hopefully I'll still get a few bits and pieces done. This one, as you will have seen, if you've seen my August finished pages, you'll know that I've got a whip going. I'm not going to go on about it for ages because I did go on quite a while in my finished pages, but yeah, obviously I'm in the process at the moment of working on this one. I certainly would like to get the flowers done on this, I think, if nothing else. There's a lot of flowers still left to do, but I think that's my definite. I'd like to get the whole thing done, but I might get to the point where I've done all those flowers and think, no, I want a break and go on to do something else, and then whether I come back to it, who knows. But definitely I would like to get the flowers finished in Serene, because I think I'm going to kind of work on that on and off, because there's such big pages in there. I'm not going to commit to say that, yeah, I'll definitely get it finished. Hannah's new book, Tales from the City and the Stars. I've done 2, I think, in this one already. I've not picked a page out of this one. I have just had a quick flick through, but from my pile, I've got some portraits in my pile. I've got some other types of colouring pages. So with Hannah, it depends what mood I'm in to which I want to do. I probably certainly won't do a double, but I'm thinking there's a couple of portraits in here that interest me. There's a few kind of butterfly, moth, insect pages that have been, yeah, winking at me as well. So I think it depends on what kind of mood I'm in by the time I actually pick this book up, which of these that I go for. But yeah, obviously something like this is going to be a lot quicker than something like this on the opposite page, so I think it depends on where I get up to in time, time wise, what I actually get time to do in this book. Ideally I'd like to do a nice double like that one, but realistically, looking at the pile I've got next to me, probably not going to get that far. But I would like to do something in her new one because I didn't touch it at all over August. Then, perhaps unsurprisingly, I've picked out my 2 Fabiana books, and as you can see, possibly, there's a couple of pages that I've got my eye on. I probably will only do one colouring from one of these books, I think, but I've got a few that keep kind of coming back to. So I quite liked these little naughty mandrakes, thought they were quite fun, but obviously this is quite a big page, and there's also quite a lot of background space in here. I'm tempted to do a bit of a test somewhere at the back or the front to see how well this paper holds up to watercolour, because then obviously this background wouldn't be a massive big job, but if it's not holding up to watercolour very successfully, well then it's going to be a bit more of a job, isn't it? So possible I might even just do one of these, because that feels a bit more doable in the time that I've got. Obviously I quite enjoy doing unicorns, horses, that kind of thing, and then obviously we've got a lovely rainbow as well behind Pegasus here, so yeah, I quite like the look of that as well. It's quite nicely drawn, quite an interesting page that does again appeal, but there's a lot of paper on that page, still quite a lot of background. Yeah, it could be quite time consuming, but I do think it's a beautiful page. It does interest me. I can kind of see a few possibilities when I'm looking at it already, so definitely something that does interest me. Same with this page with the little fawn on. I did think, oh, I've not coloured anything like this ever, so that quite interests me. And I quite like some of the background scene as well, that's quite pretty. I'm thinking maybe ink tense or something like that could work really well in this, and then just doing some heavier detail on the things that are more towards the front of it, so I thought that could be a really nice page. I think the problem I am going to have, which is what you can see already, is that this book, as you can see, is kind of printed into the spine a little bit, and this double in particular kind of really are losing part of the tree there, like that. I can't even get my hand in there, and this book I've already kind of cracked the spine, and yeah, well, you can just about see how much of the tree I'm missing, so I think it's going to get really tricky to colour down there, is the only downside of these Cheapy Works books, that, yeah, the spine could have been a bit more thought on the arrangement here and how tight it is into the spine there, because that's going to be tricky. And then last one in this one, because this just makes me chuckle. Look, Brownie. he's quite cute, and I quite like this kind of giant scene that's like a giant kitchen that he's in, that he's it looks like he's slaving for the giant. I have no idea what a brownie is, no idea at all, but yeah, it did quite amuse me, so yeah, he may get done. But I think out of all of them, I quite like the fawn best in this particular book. Out of those, it does appeal. But this one also has some beautiful pages in that do appeal. I've never done a Harry Potter page, and I quite like the style of this one. It's kind of Fabiana's Harry Potter, isn't it? And I quite like this, the sky and the background and the scenery that you've got going on, as well as obviously Harry and that page, so that does appeal just because I've never done one. I quite like this dryad woman. I don't, again, excuse my ignorance on this, I know nothing about what this is. Perhaps it says in the back actually, maybe I should look it up instead of just saying that. Wood nymph that inhabits a tree. Dryad means oak in Greek, but any tree will do. Okay, so I need to do her kind of woody so that she fits in with the tree that she lives in. There you go, that's why she's wearing a woody costume. The information is all here. And yeah, this Valkyrie one I thought also could be really interesting, but again, it's a double page. There's a lot going on. Feathers, ugh. I like them when they're done, but they take so long doing feathers, messing about with feather marks. But yeah, I think it's a beautiful page, so I'll probably do one of either of those pages that I've just gone through. I'm kind of, in colouring terms, I'm thinking of these as one book, even though it's not one book. In my mind, they kind of are. Then I have, yeah, I don't know if I'm being brave, crazy or stupid picking this lovely book. But yeah, Mythographic Voyage, by Joseph Cattenbang. As I did say in my book haul, I haven't got any other mythographic. This is it. This is my only one, and it's my first one because of no daft objects. But oh, this is a slightly scary book. If I'm really honest, I'm not totally sure I'll get to these, but they are so lovely, and I would like to do one of these. I have picked this one out that kind of has this balloon made out of a lot of petals and flowers, and then you've got some really nice little butterflies in the background, all of which I enjoy colouring, and then obviously a bit of cloud going through, well, quite a lot of clouds now I'm saying a bit, but a beautiful image, does really interest me. I'm just conscious that there is a lot of work on here, but I'm guessing, I'm sure someone will correct me if not, that this paper feels pretty good in these books, so I'm guessing a bit of watercolour, some Inktense, Albert Dürer, I'm guessing all of those will probably work quite well on this paper, so it may not be as hard a work as I'm kind of thinking it is. And then this page also, again, a bit of spine cracking needed on this one. This page also quite interested me because it's kind of like ice creams upside down, donuts, bit of chocolate, my favourite, cupcake. It's just too many sweet goodies going on in this kind of scene that looks like we've got water, although now I'm kind of thinking I should do it as melted chocolate because the chocolate's kind of falling in there, isn't it? And then obviously ice cream cones for mountains and things like that. Don't know what these are. Are these a sweet or are these a pastry? Not quite sure. I suppose they're whichever I want them to be, aren't they? But yeah, so that's also a possibility. And this one in particular, I have kept thinking about. I don't think I've coloured any kind of page with these kind of kites in, traditional kites, and a really lovely Chinese looking dragon, bit of origami. just, yeah, I think there's some quite interesting sections in that does interest me to colour. I think this would be really interesting to colour, and I really quite like particularly this kite. Some of the kite sections as well I think could be really lovely, so I quite like this page. And then I think I've marked one more down in here as a possibility, I suppose just because there's been a lot of talk about them going to the moon again in the news lately, so I thought, oh, so there's a spaceship, a rocket I suppose. And yeah, I just thought it was quite nice that he's kind of swinging on the swing and he's got the rocket in his hand, and obviously you can see a bit of the moon in the background. And I quite like the little dragonflies. I've literally just come back from walking the dog and walked past about 3 little dragonflies. They were really beautiful. I was just trying to have a closer look at what their wings look like, because the dog was running about around the bushes, so whilst I was waiting for her to come back, I was having a nosy at them. They're so lovely. Such small little things, but so beautiful. Anyway, I digress. That also is on my list of possibilities. The only thing I'm not sure about is they've got these kind of circles. They look like they've got flies trapped in globes on here as well. So I'm kind of like, I'm not totally sure about what's the best way to approach the flies trapped in globes, or what they're supposed to be. Don't know. So I've got a few queries about it, but I'd like to try and not put this pile in the I'm not going to colour it because I'm too frightened of it pile. So I'd like to try and force myself to do something in there if I can. Then, I've just knocked all my things out because I was too heavy-handed. This one, Dream Girl, Alluring Portraits, by, here we go, Lika Lendl, I think. Sorry, I've probably just butchered that really badly. But these portraits are so beautiful that, yeah, I do fancy having a go at some of these. I'd be interested to see what the paper's like. It feels quite thick. I don't think I'm going to be too brave and put loads of watercolour on it straight away. I'm just wondering if there's a page I can sacrifice. Well, there isn't. Well, there's this one that's got other portraits on. I suppose I could sacrifice a bit of that just to see whether it'll take any water or not. But this one, I think she's in it. I'm sure I remember hearing somebody describe her as a little alien, but she's kind of got dragonfly wings on her head. Now I'm looking at it. I've just been looking at them in real life. And this little cute thing, I don't know what this is either. But it's quite an interesting portrait. I can't decide what level of grayscale, because this book has this darker on the page that I was just at, or, there we go, you have this same one but a little bit lighter. I do like this one with the darker, but I'm thinking to actually work on, it might actually be easier to work on the lighter one. I won't keep flicking between the two. Oh, hold on, I'll pause, let me close my blind. Hadn't realised the sun had come out, sorry. Okay, you can see a little bit more now, sorry. There's no winning, is it? Ideally, I like filming in daylight because I think the natural light just looks a little bit more attractive, but it's either too grey or too sunny. There's no in between. Anyway, so yeah, I'm thinking I quite fancy this one in particular. I think there's some really cute little details. I think she's quite cute anyway, so it's either that one, or I quite fancied this one as well with the butterflies in a... Again, she's got quite heavy grayscale around her eyes, so, and in these little earrings, they're pretty much black already on this drawing, so it's going to be pretty hard to do anything with those bits. So it may be that I choose to use the ones further through in the book that's a slightly lighter grayscale. But certainly my Dream Girl Alluring Portraits, the link for these, if you're interested in these books, I think was in my last book haul. I linked this one and the other one that I have. Like I say, I keep checking back on the stock on them though, because the stock seems to go in and out of availability on Amazon.com. I've not seen them anywhere else. Then obviously this was also another new book to me this month, Forest Song, and obviously I do enjoy Night Garden. I've coloured in that quite a bit. So Forest Song kind of feels like it's its twin sister or something. And obviously there's some of my favourite characters back in this book. So highly likely that Mr. Fogarty, I keep calling him Mr. Fogarty. I know it's Fogarty really, but you know, that's what I'm going to call him. Him and his snail friend, who I'm going to call Sydney, because in my head all snails are called Sydney. Don't ask me why. Yeah, I think it's highly likely he might get done. The only thing that puts me off is the many, many brambles round the edge. Not as many as the last one, I don't think, but the thought of them. I don't mind a little bit. A few hours of them I don't mind, but when they drag on further than that, it starts to be a bit annoying. But he's quite likely. I also quite like this Portobello Road page, because again, these are just cute, too cute. Look at these. These are just terrifying. I won't fancy one of those flying at me. And obviously it's got mushrooms on, so, you know, and they're in mushroom houses. It's bound to be a page that I'm going to like colouring, because it's just totally my cup of tea. Then I thought if I fancy something a bit simpler this month, because, yeah, back at work, it's all very well picking out these complicated pages, but in reality, when I've lost the plot and I just want a bit of peace and to calm down and not worry about shouting at teenagers, maybe I might want something a bit quieter in my head. So I thought this might be quite nice, just very simple flower pattern. Got a couple of snakes, you've got a couple of birds, peacocks-ish, something like that. Thought that might be quite pleasant if I just want something to calm down with. And I thought this was also really lovely, foxy, with a really cute squirrel, little bird, hedgehog, little rabbit. Again, really lovely pages that, yeah, just really do appeal. I thought that would be also really nice. So, where's my next one? This one I pulled out for August. Didn't get to it, but I still very much would like to have a go at the Dommings Fairy Tales Snow White page. I don't know why, but ever since I first saw this book, this page I really wanted to have a go at, but knowing me, obviously I wanted to get it best I can get it, so I have a bit of fear about working on it, but I really do want to work on it. I'm not totally sure I'm going to go with the same colour scheme as him. I'm thinking I quite like this chest to be kind of golden and looking a bit special. And some of the background, I know it's supposed to be like she's in the forest, but it gets very dark around this top bit here. So I don't know if I want these characters to stand out a little bit more than his version on here. Not that his isn't amazing, obviously it is, but I'm thinking I may kind of do my own thing with this image rather than doing exactly as Dommings got on his one, because I do have a second copy of this, so if I do it and I hate it, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, Dommings I'd still like to get back to. And then this cutie also I got this month. Oh, cover's coming off, let me fix it because it's bugging me. So I picked a couple of pages on these as well. I only really wanted to do something fairly simple in this one. So this one, I quite fancy these little birds coming down up and down the staircase, and then you've got these cute little pictures all the way down as well, and quite a bit of space. So it's not too much of a challenge. I thought they could be really cute. And you've kind of got little inserts into their lives in these little pictures. So I thought that was really cute and quite a nice starter into the book, no pressure. And then I also, again, no pressure, quite fancied these kind of little food stalls. That I thought these could be really cute as well. And, you know, if I'm busy, I could just do the one day and maybe come back and do another one another day. So I thought that might be quite achievable when I'm busy doing a little bit on that often, rather than there's some lovely pages in this, don't get me wrong, there's really beautiful pages, but they're quite involved and there's a lot of doubles, as you can see. The first two I've flipped to, so even these singles, look how much is going on in some of these. So I thought those two pages that I picked are quite easy peasy ones, and yeah, perhaps wouldn't feel the stress too much with it, so they would be quite nice. Another new one, Colours Make You Happy. There's a couple of pages in here I've picked out. This one, just because I really enjoy the layers of fabric in these flamenco dresses. So these do appeal. I'm not thinking if I do this I'm likely to get both sides done. Not with going back to work, but I'd like to have a go at least one of the sides maybe. Obviously this one you've got a lot more background, flowers. I'm not quite sure what this is supposed to be, whether it's supposed to... Is it a close-up of part of her dress, do you think? Maybe. Maybe. And then this side obviously you've got a little bit of the dress, but you're mainly focusing on the two characters, so maybe this side might be a bit more appealing. But I do like this book mainly because of the costumes, if I'm really honest. They just interest me. And again, busy costumes is the other page that I've picked. Again, I think I'll either do either or. I don't see me doing this as a double, and these I don't think are a double anyway. They don't carry on into each other. So I do quite like this one with the birds on as well. But this is also a bit more of an action shot, isn't it? And obviously, feathers. Oh, in fact, she's got feathers as well. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, maybe not this page. Feathers, birds. Oh, yeah, they do take a while. Feathers. I do like them though, and I can kind of see this, you know, really bright, vivid. Maybe a bit of a metallic watercolour here and there, just to bling it up a little bit to make it feel a bit more kind of festival. So yeah, 2 pages out of the Colours Make Me Happy, the latest one. Lovely little book. Then this book was not my last haul before, is Wizard of Oz. Obviously not the British Wizard of Oz, but I've not yet done any out of here. So yeah, I'd quite like to do something out of these. I've not kind of plumped deliberately for a page yet, but definitely something that's maybe just a single page. There's, again, I've not broke the spine of this one yet, but there's quite a few doubles in this book, but I'm going to try and find something that's just a single. Like, I really like that. That does quite appeal, but I just don't think I'm going to have time to do something as amazing as that page. So I'm kind of cheating and thinking of something that isn't, and as you can see, there's a lot of doubles in this book. So I could maybe get away with that as a single, couldn't I? Because although this matches, I don't necessarily have to do all these glasses the same as that page. So that's definite possibility. Or something like this, the little Rat King. These are both quite nice, aren't they? Oh, that's cute, isn't it? With her curled up with the dog. So there's a few possibilities in here, really, that I think, yeah, maybe. But yeah, there's a lot more doubles, I think, in this page than some of the others that I've been doing out of her books. But possibly a couple of those out of Wizard of Oz. I couldn't think what it was called then. Completely went out of my mind. And then this I did pick out a couple of months ago now, and I didn't get to it. But there's a few pages I've got my eye on. So it's Clara Markova's first book. Don't know. Sorry, I did know. I can't remember it now. Out of all her books, this is not my favourite, I've got to be honest, but, you know, I'm fortunate, I own them all at the moment, and I do want to use them all. I really enjoy her drawing. I don't think they're necessarily worth the money we have to pay for them now, in shipping and all of that, but that's the way of the world, isn't it, unfortunately, at the moment. This, I think, is quite cute, with obviously some kind of blackberry or raspberry, I think, and cute little mouse with some little bells. That I quite fancy. I think that's a nice page. This cute little owl certainly appeals. And look, it's got some little ones as well. I think that's really cute as well. Well, there's little butterflies as well, popping about as well, isn't there? So yeah, I think that's also a definite possibility. This little castle with all the flowers round. I like doing Clara's flowers. That I've got my eye on. And then finally this lovely little fairy perched on a mushroom with some more mushrooms for decoration. Obviously is going to be on my list because I've got some obsession. And another dragonfly. I seem to have picked a few of those out today as well. This also looks quite fun, but there's quite a bit of background and sky and clouds and things like that. So I'd like to have a go at least one in this book. Can't get hold of it now. But yeah, Clara McOver's first book. I can't think what it's called off the top of my head. As soon as I switch the camera off, I'll remember what it's called, because I'm an idiot like that. And then if I don't do Wizard of Oz, I did think Pinocchio, I think I got the first out of all of these Fabiana books, but I have not yet touched it. So I quite fancy this. Quite fancy doing his jumper and all the patterns on it. Don't ask me why, I don't know. It just appeals. So that I've got my eye on. Really fancied doing these naughty soldiers that have got a hold of poor Pinocchio, because again they've got quite patterns, and just the idea of their armour and how I can make it look metallic and things like that, because they've got all this kind of layered bit at the bottom that I thought that could be quite interesting to have a go at. And then what else did I pick out? Oh yeah, I just quite like the costumes, and you've got this tent behind, and obviously you've got them both and their different costumes pulling out. I might be lazy and just do the book instead. It's probably not likely though. And then finally, the last page that I really did like, but all these with the little cuckoo clocks, I think these are beautiful. But there's a lot of backgrounds in here, and I'm kind of thinking in my head, oh yeah, but they'd be in like a Swiss chalet or something, wouldn't they, those? So it would have to be wood behind. So then I was like, So I've started off doing some interesting clocks, but now what I'm going to end up doing really is a load of wood in the background before I can do the interesting clocks, because if I don't do the wood first, then I'll just do the clocks and I won't want to do the background. So yeah, I want to do this page, but I don't want to do loads of wood. Just don't do it then, Wendy. I could just do it a colour, couldn't I? I've not tried watercolour in these books yet, so it'd be easier to paint it, certainly, but I don't know. As you can see, I'm in two minds about it. I want to do it, and I want to do it like it's a load of wood, because I think it'd look good, but the lazy part of me thinks, oh, can I be bothered? Can I be bothered doing all that wood? Okay, my healing colouring book, Secretly Happy, written by these people that I can't pronounce. There's a few pages in this that I've quite like the look of. There's a lovely one that I'd like to do near Halloween, but I quite like this lovely little fairy that's holding some flower. And then, where's my other page gone? Can I get to it? Oh yeah, this I think is cute. So she sat on his antlers, that I thought was really nice. Obviously there's going to be quite a bit of sky to do on this page. It's the downside of it, but I think it's a beautiful page. Where is my little Halloween page that I fancy doing? Trust me not to be able to find it. I thought it was near the front. Clearly not. Maybe I won't show the Halloween page today. This I thought would be a little bit different, and I was thinking again might do kind of colourful clouds to make it a bit more interesting, like she was going through some amazing, interesting place rather than just kind of grey Manchester clouds. And I also quite like this little foxy as well. He's quite cute. I think that's 2 foxes I've picked out this month, but I thought that would be not too difficult a page and a good start. See what this paper's like in this book. Thought that might be interesting me. Just wondering if my witches are near the front. No, they're not. It's going to annoy me there. Anyway, I'm not going to do them this month. So my page is in Healing Colouring Book, Secret Happy. And then another book I've had a while. I keep taking it to work and it's getting a bit bashed and I've still not coloured in it. So now I'm banning myself from putting it in my work bag. But this is Doll's House book. I'm not sure who this is by. It's Classic House. 9 Rooms for Dolls, I think is what it's actually called. But there's a couple of pages in here that I've had my eye on for a while. There's this lovely one that's got all these light fittings in that I thought could be really interesting. And then you've got this little doll that's a lamb that I thought was quite cute. I also quite like the following page, the teapot page. That again, you've got little teapots hanging as lights in the ceiling that I thought was really quite cute. And I also quite like just this little lovely miniature cottage page with the little ducks. And yeah, just because I don't really colour this kind of scene very often, so I thought that might be a little bit different for me to have a go at. But yeah, certainly a possible. I know I've done about 1 million pages now, haven't I? Sorry. This one, I've just knocked all them out. I'm such an idiot sometimes. Clumsiest person in the world. This one is I've got a flip on the channel at the moment, so Between Angels and Colours, Angela Gomez. There's a couple in here that I quite fancy, although I find this top spine really annoying. Annoying to flip. I don't know if it'd be annoying to colour on, we'll see. But I quite like this one. Again, another foxy. These giant-eyed butterflies I find quite amusing. They do make me smile, so I thought that might be quite a fun page. Which is my next one? No, the green one is the next one. This one, again, some more giant-eyed butterflies, some nice flowers, and another little angel. Also, I'm only thinking this will be a quick colour marker book, so these ones I don't see taking ages. And obviously she's got a background with more giant-eyed butterflies and some mushrooms, so yep, any of those I think might be quick colour for this month. And then my last two, I'm counting as a 1, but it is a 2. I have both of these, so Romantic Country 1 and 2. Neither of which I have coloured in, which is very naughty. They're lovely books. So I'd like to do a page in one of these. So I've pulled out, I've not really coloured any castles before, so this one keeps kind of, oh yeah, maybe I could have a go at that. It's something different. It's not something I've ever had a go at. So that one does interest me. And I also thought, oh, some of these signs are quite nice, kind of like pub signs and cafe signs and things like that. And again, I suppose I was thinking, you know, if I'm busy, I could do, right, I'd do that one tonight, or I could do that one tomorrow night, and it would add up into a page over time. And I'm not too worried if I don't get the other side finished this month, because they don't have to be matching, do they? Each one of these signs are going to be an individual little thing on their own. So I thought that might be another quite achievable page to have a go at. Or, out of the second tale, I do really like, again, I like a little circus tent, or I think it's supposed to be a magic tent, isn't it, in this case? But I thought this is quite nice to do, something a little bit different. And then you've got these giant flowers going up, but I thought that was quite cute. Or there's another castle, but I think I'll do the castle in the other one. This page, I might be dreaming, let's be quite honest. There's an awful lot to do in this page, but it does appeal. It's just a really interesting page. But I've not worked in these, and obviously these are the the English editions. Does anybody know if you can paint in these? I know my Japanese editions did not like watercolour at all. The paper didn't seem to take it as well. So this paper seems super smooth. So I'm wondering whether I could get away with a bit of watercolour in these. Interested if anybody knows whether my page is just going to go into a wrinkly mess or not. And then last one this month that I thought was a possibility, although now I'm looking at it, I'm thinking that I'm mad. Lots of dresses, so I was attracted to it straight away. But now I'm noticing 1 million flowers in the roof. I'm thinking maybe I was going crazy. But yeah, I might quite like to do something in here as well. Oh, and there we go. Goodness me, talked for a long time about books that I've not got to. I do also have this book out. I don't know why I've not coloured in this yet. I keep looking through it, and it's a beautiful book, isn't it? And I know you could just use a bit of marker in it. I don't need to make it hard work, but every time I sit down to do it, I think, I don't know what colour I want her skin. What colour should her skin be? It's just, I suppose I don't really watch very many spooky, scary, anything along those lines programmes. So, yeah, maybe I've just not got the colour palette in my head to decide what I want to do with her. Who knows? I may be brave and try and do something out of Spooky Girl as well, but oh, I don't know. I just don't know. I've banned myself from Spooky Town until I do some in this and feel I'm using it a lot. But yes, as you can see, not very decisive. It's because I know I'm going back to work and I'm like, oh no, I've got to actually do proper work, not just colouring. That's no good, is it? Really? Boring. Anyway, thank you for watching if you have. I'm sorry I've gone on for quite a while about books that I may or may not colour in. Hopefully may. I plan to try and be May. But yes, hopefully some of those will pop up at the end of September for you to see what on earth I've done with them. Thank you very much for listening to me go on for quite a while about books that I do love. Hope you're doing something lovely with your colouring. Bye bye.